Well, thanks for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure. First thing I'd like to start talking about is definitely about change. My name is Chazz Miller. Chazz is my pen name. That's how I sign my paintings. And at some point in life, you come to a conclusion that you are what you eat. And at the time, in 2007, I moved back to Detroit, and I seen that it needed some color, and I wanted to make a difference with my art. And at the time, I needed to, at the same time, earn an income. So I started painting commercial homes and bathrooms and that kind of thing. And at some point, I decided I wasn't going to paint any more bathrooms. Again, the law of attraction, because as long as I thought about bathrooms, believe it or not, more people kept coming to me with bathrooms they wanted painting. Faux finish bathrooms, wallpaper bathrooms, whatever. So, ironically enough, I'm painting a bathroom and I go out to wash my brushes, and who's in the hallway but a supervisor of Highland Park Schools who controlled all the painting of the schools said he had a mural he wanted painted at an elementary school, and that was my cue. So I went to paint this mural at a small elementary school in Highland Park, and literally at that point I made up my mind I was never painting another bathroom. How things work, I'm cleaning out the last brush and I get a call from John George at Motor City Blight Busters. They're in a jam, they got the governor coming, they got the city coming, and they're trying to finish a mural and they need some help. Well, by the grace of God, I've always stayed prepared, so I was over there in 5 minutes. I've been with John George ever since, working with Motor City Blight Busters to make a change in Detroit using my art. I felt instead of complaining, this is what I would do to make a difference. So we started Public Art Workz. And Public Art Workz is about community beautification and art education. Just to really emphasize the importance of change and what we have, we use what we have to make change. I didn't want to step out of my box. So in order to really expand the horizons as far as the arts is concerned, I started the Artist Village. The Artist Village is a place for all different types of artists to come together and explore their talents and educate the community on the arts. My thing was, how can you have an art market if you don't have a market that's educated on the arts? So to do that, we started the Artist Village now, and we do performances every Saturday night. It's poetry and jazz in a community that was really downtrodden. If it wasn't for Blight Busters, it would have been a lot worse. But because of what we're doing now, we've promoted 3 small businesses to have buildings in the community, to stay in the community, to reinvest in the community, and also to participate in some of our programs where they're actually taking on students as far as the co-op programs and entrepreneurial type training. Well, just to give you a little history about myself real quickly, I painted commercial billboards. I got my training. I studied at the Columbus College of Art and Design. I was fortunate enough to go to the first vocational system of schools in Detroit. I graduated from Crockett. I'm a native of Detroit. I grew up in Southwest Detroit, graduated from Southwestern High School. I left Detroit right after high school because of the 40 ounces in the drinking. I didn't want to get caught up, so I left and went off to school, because I didn't see many options in the 80s. So I went off to paint, and I just wanted to be this great designer and ended up painting commercial billboards. So I painted billboards for about 6 years. These are some of the, oh, look at that. Some of the billboards that I did over the years where I learned my commercial skills in managing large commercial projects. As you know, all of this used to be hand painted, and I painted at the highest scale. Well, I was considered a heavy pictorial artist. And then from there, I've always loved doing portraits. This is my way of connecting with the grassroots community. I would go down to Hart Plaza. That spawned into a larger portrait business that was called Live Art, and then we actually ended up calling it Artainment, where obviously we do private and corporate parties and we do sketches. I wanted to take the street artists to another level. The portraits have also taken me to, this is Carol Goss, the head of the Skillman Foundation. I do a lot of corporate portraits. Celebrities and characters. And then speaking of technology, I've recently launched Draw Me TV. It's going to be an online sketch pad where literally you can, via webcam, I'm going to be drawing folks over the internet. So that's a real exciting project that we're looking forward to. And then going into the murals, it's always important that our environment is conducive of our creativity, and one spawns the other. And I'm sure most of you, you don't want to go home to a raggedy house that's beat down and trash everywhere. So in the same in our community, so I felt by putting these murals in the community, it would inspire people to get a job, to pick up some trash, to work together, to come together. And that's been the biggest power of what I've done. Is way beyond anything I've ever imagined, even to be standing before you today and looking at where we've come from, and the fact that these paintings have brought people together. It's some powerful stuff. And again, I just like to say the law of attraction is very for real. Recently, I've teamed up. I've been working for the College for Creative Studies for over 8 years, working in the CAP program, teaching after school to schools that didn't have art. And as we know, that's a big problem in most of our public schools. They don't have any art training. And so from there, I actually went to the college for the first mural idea that I had, and they said, "It's a nice idea, but the project's bigger than you. Why don't you just keep teaching?" So, and I did, but I continue to badger them about a mural project. Now, recently, the school is connected with Chase, Skillman, and Kresge, and this year, we're over $500,000 in community investments in public art in Detroit. We have 6 neighborhoods that Skillman has adopted, along with the College for Creative Studies and local artists, to do community beautifications projects. We're in our 2nd year. We have now community arts advisory boards, and they're a board, and they're also not just mural paintings, there's sculptures, there's art, again, art and technology. We have a opportunity now to really take public art to another level. This is the first project that I did. This is the Guardian building, which is on Burt and Finkel. It was an abandoned building. It's now about to be the headquarters of the Brightmoor Alliance, which is a community organization in Brightmoor that combines all the organizations together. And this is how the building looks. It's 75 foot long by about 5 stories high. And working together with Blightbusters that provided some great equipment for me to get up. Imagine trying to get to that wall just with a ladder. Wouldn't have been much fun. And the great thing about this particular vehicle, I tell you, and you know, a lot of guys, we love our tools. The kids love the tools too. So when I pulled up in the hood with this truck, I was the man. And all the kids, it turned into a big joyride. So it was great. And for me too, we like the hydraulics, This is an example of the power of the hands-on. And the thing of connecting with the community, what I love about doing the murals is I'm right there on the street. This is Finkel and Burt was one of the worst streets in Detroit. And I mean, the alcoholics and the crackheads. But I invite everybody to participate. That's the beauty of it. And when they do, the park becomes their park. They take care of the park. I go by the park now, there's no trash. They don't put bubblegum wrappers. They don't put cigarette butts in the flower pots. And that's where you want to talk about getting the community to buy in. Detroit went through a renaissance once, and the renaissance was all about bricks and mortar. Well, you can't change a city unless you change the hearts and minds of people. And for me, art calms the savage beast, and that's what I always look forward to try to get inroad, to try to get people to soften their hearts and open their minds. This is just an example of how the murals are laid out through a line drawing. I lay out a basic structure because everybody's done coloring books. So when I do it this way, the intimidation factor goes down to 0. So anybody now can come up and participate in my mural projects. And oftentimes I have what we call local color. If any of you are artists or designers, say if I'm painting your shirt, the first color I see is green, that's the local color. So that's the color you would paint on the shirt, on the character on the wall. And then from there, I go and design and add the detail. This is the mural as it's starting to develop. This particular mural is called Career Paths. All of the murals I've done, because originally when we started, we were pretty much doing this on the fly, where John George would come to me and say, "Hey, we got a new community garden going up. What do you think for a mural?" I'd literally go out and sit next to the mural with a sketch pad and come up with a concept. And that was it. Now we have the luxury of planning, working with the community, getting everybody to buy in. Because once again, it's not about Chazz, it's about the community. Again, I'm just a catalyst as well as the art. And this really powerful image is based on an actual experience. One morning, I'm driving down 8 Mile. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I'm going to work to paint a bathroom. And this guy is taking his kids to school. And we always hear so much negative about, men, especially African American, not taking care of the children. And this is an example of one guy that just had a snowstorm. After a snowstorm, and it's really sunny the next morning, but it's wet and it's a mess. He's got these 2 wonderful children, and he's got a suit on with his rubbers, and he's hustling to the bus stop. And it's just a sense of determination. And I didn't have my camera, so I immediately pulled over to the road and sketched this image out. And later on, it came up when I was conceptualizing for the mural. I ended up using this as a central image for the mural. And notice how well you can see it there. So as we move forward, this is just working with some of the youth and the volunteers. There's a couple of youth from my summer program, and that's really my biggest love, is working with the youth and seeing them inspired and knowing that, and them knowing that someone is willing to look, listen, and learn from them. In this park, speaking of which, we have the first solar brick pavers installed in any public art project in Michigan that I know of, maybe even in the world. They're fairly new technology. They're brick pavers that are meant to actually go on the sidewalk. We'll talk about that. But I installed them in the park as part of the introduction to combining the art and technology. If I've always been thrilled just by tinkering around, and but although my background is predominantly in traditional painting, okay, here's some more of that. And then as you can see here, you can kind of get a sense of it glowing in the park, which is really nice. It adds a nice ambience at nighttime. Okay, and then of course the summer art program. We've been doing summer art programs at the Artist Village for 4 years, absolutely free. Anybody that walks in, I just can't say no, especially if they got a portfolio and they're prepared. You know, some of the kids come in so prepared, it's just amazing. We have the art programs at the Artist Village. Artist Village was graciously given to us for a year. It was an abandoned building. Good friend of John George. He's been working in that community for a number of years with Blight Busters. And knowing the different landowners, they donated this property originally for us to rehab and to run our programs out of. Now we're in the process of actually purchasing the program, so we really are major stakeholders in the community as far as ownership. And so we plan to stay for a long time. But out of the Artist Village, now it gave us a headquarters to do all the things that we talked about: community gardening, summer arts programs. This is a gentleman I met in the community. He was literally about to leave Detroit, and he discovered the Artist Village. Now he's our master gardener, a filmmaker, and an antique furniture restorer. He has a studio now in the Artist Village. These are some of the youth actually teaching them the technology of, you know, when I came up, we were using overhead projectors and even beyond overhead projectors to produce the images on the walls, and even back as far as a grid design. I don't know if you remember the grid, to scale images up, because often people ask, how do you get the images to that size? Well, now thanks to the digital projectors, it makes it really easy. Plus we can go on location. But one of the things I also like to do is also encourage the marketing, the merchandising, and the commercial art aspect. My background is commercial art and graphic design. This community art, starving artist thing is new to me. Help me. You know, I came out of college, you know, making $40,000 a year, 20 years old, 22 years old, and to go back, it's just amazing. But the thing is that the skills that I learned, so I was fortunate enough, I've done work for NFL Properties, Paramount Pictures, and so on and so forth, but the silk screening, the graphic design, all these youth need to learn this. So I've actually invested in a 25-year-old silk screen machine, and we take that and we teach the kid merchandising. So just kind of roughly speed things through, and I know it's so much, and you know, you realize you want to do this, it's just not enough time in the day. But we're going to flip through the pictures. These are some of the students from the nutrition is also a very important project. The miracles rehearsed, one of the original miracles rehearsed at the Artist Village. Some of the kids from the summer youth program, we're going to flip through. We actually did push cars this summer. How many of you remember push cars? Took scrap materials. This is my first student. I got a full scholarship to the Chicago Art Institute. Met him on the streets. He was 15 years old. Now he's going off to college, Trevor Coates. And in the future, we're going to go and talk about, again, some of the murals going through real quickly. Mood swings. Detroit was having a problem. I wanted to create mood swings to put at the bus stops. Mood swings are made out of recycled materials, and they have solar lighting and cell phone charging stations. And out of mood swings, we want to spark firefly industries. Brightmoor has more fireflies than I've ever seen in my life. I want to make Brightmoor the solar technology education leader in the world, teaching youth the art of this technology through art. So here we have solar brick pavers that we can line the sidewalks for safe routes to schools that require zero maintenance. We have the mood swings that can enhance your bus stop experience. We have poetries. Imagine going up to a street lamp and touching it and hearing a poem while you're waiting at the bus stop or waiting for your wife to come out of the store. So with this in mind, the next thing is safety, solar lit safety barriers that have mosaic tiles that are added by you. And this is my vision for Detroit and how we can use public artwork to change the world. Thank you.